Welcome to Buzz News. Today we're covering the latest developments from the UK, where a week of violent anti-immigrant riots has led to a massive police deployment and a surge of counter-protests. Let's dive in. Thousands of police officers were deployed across Britain on Wednesday, amid concerns that planned far-right protests could lead to more violence. However, by Wednesday evening, the anticipated large-scale far-right gatherings had not materialized, and only a few arrests had been made. Instead, thousands of anti-racism protesters took to the streets in cities like Bristol, Birmingham, Liverpool, and London. These demonstrations were often held near areas that were potential targets for rioters. As night fell, many breathed a sigh of relief that the feared widespread violence had not occurred. Over the past week, more than a dozen towns and cities across Britain experienced violent unrest, partly incited by far-right agitators and a disinformation campaign following a tragic knife attack on a children's dance class in northwestern England. Misleading information spread online claimed the teenage suspect born in Britain was an asylum seeker. The BBC reported that the suspect's parents were from Rwanda, but the police have not disclosed a motive for the attack. Due to strict reporting restrictions, further details remain confidential. Last week, rioters clashed with police, set cars on fire, and targeted mosques and hotels housing asylum seekers. Far-right groups had called for more protests on Wednesday night, with reports indicating that police were monitoring at least 30 locations, including London. With tensions high, about 6,000 specialist public order police officers were mobilized nationwide. Authorities in several cities increased patrols and gave police extended powers to preemptively arrest those suspected of intending to cause unrest. Among the few arrests on Wednesday night was a 40-year-old man in Southampton, detained for suspected violent or threatening behavior after a small group of anti-immigration protesters were outnumbered by counter-protesters. In Bristol, police reported one arrest after a brick was thrown at a police vehicle, but overall, the demonstrations remained largely peaceful. In Portsmouth, police dispersed a small group of anti-immigration protesters blocking a roadway. Meanwhile, in Belfast, Northern Ireland, unrest continued, and additional officers were deployed. A list circulating on social media identified more than 30 potential targets for anti-immigration protests, including businesses and charities supporting asylum seekers. Many of these closed after the list spread. In Liverpool, the atmosphere outside Asylum Link Merseyside, a charity supporting asylum seekers, turned almost festive as anti-racism demonstrators filled the street. Terry O'Brien. This neighborhood is normally quiet, and I'm not happy with the far right trying to come here. We have never had a problem with immigrants here, and people are trying to bring violence. In Walthamstow, an ethnically diverse neighborhood in northeast London, potential far-right demonstrations sparked quick counter-protest plans. By late afternoon, many shops and cafes shut early, with some businesses boarding up windows and doors. By late evening, anti-immigration demonstrations had not appeared, but thousands of counter-protesters filled the streets, carrying signs welcoming refugees and opposing the far right. Joe Mulhall. The circulation of this list has caused significant distress and fear. It was compiled specifically to spread these emotions within Muslim and immigrant communities. A recent YouGov poll found that nearly half of Britons now see right-wing extremists as a significant threat, a notable increase over 6 months. Prime Minister Keir Starmer emphasized the government's commitment to addressing the violence, stating that over 400 people had been arrested and assuring that those involved would face severe consequences. Social media platforms like Telegram are also taking action, removing channels and posts that incite violence. And we end by quoting Haile Selassie said in 1963 to the United Nations, that until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned everywhere is war. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Buzz News for more updates on this and other major stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest news delivered to you.